March 4th episode of Monday Night Raw dispatched. Roman Reigns came out to start the show. He said last week was the comeback, but this week we take our yard back. There was one man standing in the way of what he wanted. His brother, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins came out. He said seeing Roman Reigns in the ring last week was one of the greatest moments of his own career. It made him feel like he could do anything, and he would take the motivation to WrestleMania to slay the beast, as he would bring the Universal title back to Raw every single week. Roman Reigns wished Seth Rollins luck at WrestleMania, but he wanted a favor, and that's to get the band together. Seth Rollins was against it until Roman Reigns convinced him that Dean Ambrose should come too. Dean Ambrose came out, but before he can speak, Elias attacked him with a guitar and left. Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley defeated Finn Balor, Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman as they pinned Finn Balor. I mean, can't you protect your champion for once? He doesn't even have a match at Fastlane. Poor dude. Charlie Caruso interviewed Heavy Machinery. She said not everyone on Raw was happy to have them there. She showed footage from earlier as the Ascension was complaining to Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins and the B-Team about the new NXT guys getting more chances than them, especially Heavy Machinery. They made fun of Otis and Otis responded, "I'm sensitive. That hurt my feelings." Tucker said he would find the McMahons and make this right because they would learn that Otis hurts those who hurt his feelings. Natalya defeated Ruby Riot in 2 minutes with a small package. Triple H entered the ring. They aired a promo that Batista did on his Instagram. Batista said he wasn't at Raw not because he had other obligations, but because he simply didn't want to be there. He hated Philly and he may or may not show up next week. And they would play this game on his terms until the game was up. Triple H talked about wanting to honor Ric Flair last week because of how well he knew the man, Richard Fleer. He called Batista's act lame. Batista should have some balls. He would go to Batista's house if he wanted to, or Batista could go to his, as this wasn't something they were selling. When Batista looks into his eyes, he isn't seeing the character Triple H, he is seeing the man. So if Dave wanted his attention, he got it. Talking about characters, I mean those stuff never appealed to me, especially when you're in a feud that's so important. You know, the Batista Triple H match is very important at WrestleMania, and the hype and the build up to it. I think last week they did a great job with Batista attacking Ric Flair, but now Triple H, I was expecting more from his promo and I didn't like it. Stephanie McMahon told Charlie Caruso that Ronda Rousey disrespected the title last week. They would do what's best for business and drop all charges against Becky Lynch and lift her suspension. She also invited Becky Lynch to the arena tonight to sign a hold harmless agreement that states that the company can't be held responsible for what happens to her at Fastlane, where Becky Lynch would face Charlotte Flair for the now vacant title. Heavy Machinery defeated the B-Team, Ascension, and Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder in a gauntlet match as they eliminated all 3 teams. They announced Tori Wilson will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Seth Rollins saw Dean Ambrose backstage. He said, "Brothers fight, and through everything, he'd like to think there is still some mutual respect." He called Dean Ambrose his wrestling soulmate. They have one chance to do this the right way. Ambrose said no, he appreciated the help last week, but he has his own business to take care of tonight. Elias defeated Dean Ambrose with Drift Away. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins walked out. They both entered the ring. They tried to talk to Dean Ambrose, but Ambrose just shoved them away until we saw Corbin, McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. They came out. They made fun of the Shield. They attacked both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins until Dean Ambrose came out for the save. We saw a Superkick from Seth Rollins, also a Superman punch from Roman. The Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins held their fists out and Dean Ambrose joined in at the last second. So the Shield are back together and they will face Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin at Fastlane. I don't know about y'all, but Roman Reigns doesn't have a match at WrestleMania, and at Fastlane it's the perfect opportunity for Dean Ambrose to turn on his team and set a one-on-one match between him and Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. Tamina defeated Sasha Banks after Nia Jax distracted Sasha. Tag Team Championship match, The Revival retained the tag team titles against Ricochet and Aleister Black by DQ when Chad Gable and Bobby Roode suddenly attacked Dash Wilder. Then Chad and Bobby Roode got in the face of Ricochet and Aleister Black in the ring. They argued and fought with each other, with Ricochet and Black having the better hand. So maybe this will set up a triple threat match for the titles at Fastlane. It's not official yet, but maybe they will announce it in a couple of days. Stephanie McMahon came out with the women's title. She called out Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Stephanie said we need a champion and we would find out who it was on Sunday. Becky Lynch had to first sign a hold harmless agreement. Becky Lynch said she beat Charlotte at the Royal Rumble with one good leg and could do it again right now if she wanted to. Stephanie had to separate them, then encouraged Becky Lynch again to sign the agreement. They suddenly saw Ronda Rousey showing up at the parking area. Ronda Rousey came in and asked Stephanie what she was doing. Stephanie said she left her no choice. Ronda Rousey responded she gave Stephanie McMahon a week to think about it so that she would include Becky Lynch, not exclude her from the title match. Stephanie gave Ronda Rousey her title back, then said Becky Lynch and Charlotte will still have a match at Fastlane, and if Becky loses, she's done. If she wins, it's a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Ronda said she did everything right and tried to respect the business, but they booed her out of the Staples Center in Los Angeles, her home, and cheered Becky Lynch over her while she worked her ass off. Everyone knew she could break their noses just sneezing in their directions. Then she said this: "No more Mrs. Nice, bitch." She kicked Charlotte out of the ring, then attacked Becky Lynch. She put Lynch in the armbar like 3 times and Charlotte was just watching. Ronda then rubbed her boot in Becky Lynch's face and held up the women's title. This wasn't bad. I like the whole idea of explaining everything, and the whole situation now, it will be either a triple threat match or a one-on-one with Charlotte Flair facing Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Take care, guys.